Fortunately, 35 points late, but the good thing is it's still a very tight first set as UMass Boston holds an 18-17 edge over the visiting Rams. My name is Seth Dorensky. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Some hardline internet issues here on campus that have caused us to be a little bit delayed, as that serve is just a little bit long, and the Beacons push their lead to 19-17 over their red line rivals. Beacons come in today's match at 3-4, Suffolk at 3-5, and it'll be the local libero, Alyssa Ruan out of Quincy, Mass, sending it just a little bit wide. Not a big surprise if you've been following these teams all season long. Their Achilles heel on both sides has been service errors. The Beacons actually have more service errors on the year than service aces. Suffolk with 5 more aces than service errors coming in, but you really want that mark to be much larger. For Suffolk, it'll be Harmony Johnson, the junior setter out of Riverside, California, just one of 3 returning players for Suffolk after a program best 20 wins back in 2019. And Johnson has herself an ace and a tie first set at 19 all. Johnson attended Martin Luther King High School, was an all-conference third-team honoree as a freshman. This year, comes in making her 8th appearance, 85 assists, good for second on the team. Team leading 4.47 assists per set. She also has 10 aces, 2 kills, and 2 blocks. She has been splitting the setting duties this year with a true freshman, Jayla Martinez, freshman of Santa Fe, New Mexico, who came in with 93 assists on the year. So after a delay to sop up a little bit of sweat, Kiosa, the non-traditional reception, able to tip it across. It's dug out and kept alive by Suffolk on the near side. Popped up by Tony Guerra. Commons go over on 2, and that'll do the job. Carson Commons, who hit 1,500 career assists on Saturday, just the 3rd player in UMass Boston program history to reach that mark. Giving the Beacons a slim 20-19 edge. Last time these two teams met was back in 2016, and it wasn't in Boston. It was all the way out in Smith College in Western Mass as the Beacons block pushes it out too far wide, and Jasmine James has tied this match at 20-all. Beacons have won 5 in a row over the Rams, 8 out of 12 overall. But the two sides have not played since 2016. No one on either of these rosters was a player on these two sides. Amelia Chepievska for the Beacons was a collegiate player, but she was at D1 South Dakota State. Popped in tight, and a good swing there in close. That looks like Alina Nowakowski, the freshman out of Mansfield, Massachusetts. Leads Suffolk with their .217 hitting percentage. Also good for 4th on the team in total kills and kills per set. Chepievska on the reception. She'll get it right back from Commons and hits it way too low. Just like that, Suffolk has a 22-20 edge. Suffolk with a 22-20 edge here in set number 1. Both teams played in tournaments this past weekend. Suffolk traveling up to Union, New York, where they finished 1-3. The lone win coming in 4 sets over Union. That snapped a 3-match losing streak. Losers of 4 of their last 5. For the Beacons, they hosted 3 matches as part of the Babson Fall Invitational. Both UMass Boston and Babson hosting teams from around the Northeast. The Beacons finished 2-1, a 3-0 victory over Northern Vermont Linden on Friday night, followed by a split, a 3-0 loss to Salve on Saturday, and a 3-0 victory over Bates College up in Maine. On the service, Guerra across, and it's Chepieska, the roll shot, but kept alive by Johnson. To the near side for James, through the block, and Suffolk leads it 23-20 here in set 1. And just like that, UMass Boston and head coach Michael Houlihan forced to take a timeout. Beacons got off to a strong start, but since then it's been mostly Suffolk. The Beacons hitting -74, whereas Suffolk is hitting 150 on the day. The Beacons have more attack errors than kills. 2 teams have combined for just 11 kills thus far, though. Very low numbers. 3 kills each for James and Nowakowski for the Beacons. 2 kills from Alex Chiosa and 2 from Marcel Tiscareño. The Beacons with 4 service aces, but 5 service errors. Suffolk has struggled even more. 1 service ace, 6 service errors. 16 digs for the Rams, 12 for the Beacons. So despite the fact that the Beacons have really struggled hitting the ball, Suffolk's service errors have kept UMass Boston, especially early in the first set. For the Beacons coming out of the timeout, it'll be Carson Kaminsk, Alyssa Ruan, Tony Guerra, Alex Chiosa, Amelia Chepieska, and Taryn Brogel looking to stop this Suffolk run. 3 consecutive points, and now they're just 2 away from a first set win. That's going to land inbounds. Tony Guerra, the freshman, let it bounce, thinking it was deep, and instead it's a service ace for McKenna Cowan, the freshman of San Ramon, California, who had 13 aces coming in, second best on the Rams side. Cowan, this time it's handled by Ruan. Kaminsk across for Chepieska, too deep. And just like that, Suffolk on a 5-0 run to end the first set. They take the first set 25-20 here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Now the Beacons are going to look to reset, as it was a good start, but a slow ending for the Beacons. And now they'll have to try to come from behind to earn their 3rd home victory in 4 matches this year. This is their 4th straight home match. They'll open conference play on Friday when they travel to Eastern Connecticut State, the team picked right above them in the Little East Conference standings. Eastern, who won the 2019 regular season title. The Beacons were the tournament champions as the 4 seed. UMass Boston already out on the court with their group of 6 players with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go before the start of the second set. So a very short conversation, and it's interesting. UMass Boston had been playing 12, 13, even 14 players. They've got 18 on the roster. But in the Bates match, in which they really found a rhythm, they played just 8 players, really shortened their rotation. And we'll see if they come out with a similar look here in set 2 and potentially going forward. Alyssa Ruan will stay on as the libero, but Allie Dean is going to come on defensively for the Beacons. Dean, the sophomore out of Portland, Oregon. Of course, sophomores this year are essentially freshmen, just a year older, especially at UMass Boston, where there were no practices, there were no scrimmages, there was nothing in terms of actual athletic competition. So Dean is on in place of Guerra, who in that first set did not have an ace. She does lead the Beacons this season with 17 and had 2 digs. Dean, who made her return, she played 1 set in the Beacons opener at Emerson, was out for about 10 days with an injury. She made a return this weekend and was the projected Beacons starting libero. Well, still coming back, but she is on alongside Ruan, Chepievska, Kiyosa, Marcel Tiscareño, Beacon's leading hitter in terms of hitting percentage, and Carson Comets. Johnson on the service. Chepievska for Comets, tipped by Tiscareño, and a really nice dig out there by the freshman, Morgan Kelsey. And a swing to the back corner gives Suffolk another point. It's now 6 in a row for the Rams. We're looking for their first win over UMass Boston since 2005. Dean, very tight to the net. Nice job by Comets to keep it alive. Suffolk will push it out to the near side, and that's another kill from McKenna Cowan. Cowan's second on the day, but her team leading 66th on the season. A nice little service run from Johnson. Came in with 10 aces on the year, good for 4th on the team. Comets pushes out wide for Kiyosa. This one will hit the hardwood, and it ends a 7-0 run in favor of the Rams. Kiyosa in that first set, 2 kills, 3 attack errors on 11 total attempts. She's been one of the Beacons' big 3 this season. Came in with 50 kills, hitting .068 on the year. She's had to step up with the absence of Mallory Reed and Sarah Doyle, a pair of the Beacons' top hitters in 2019. A service ace for Comets. Again, we're all even at 2. Comets, the graduate student captain out of Worthington, Ohio. Soft little service, easily dug out by Kelsey. Popped up and almost kept alive, but Kiyosa can't quite push it over the net. It really looks like the Beacons at this point are going to try to stay at 8, maybe 9 here. As Kelsey Pereira and Taryn Brogel, 2 players typically in the Beacons rotation, are both standing a little bit apart from some of the other Beacons substitutes. Carson Comets will mop up some more sweat. It is a warm day in the gym. I can say that I'm feeling the sweat a little bit. So I'm not surprised that the players are as well, especially wearing the mask indoors. As Dean misreads that service, was kind of in between, and it will go down as another service ace for Suffolk as McKenna Cowan picks up the ace. She came in with 13 on the season. Suffolk with 2 aces in the first set, already 2 here in the opening 6 points of the second. Comments for Kiyosa, not much he could do there. Almost flat-footed to the near side for James, who completely hit that ball, and the Beacons get the side out. Tiscareño will head to the bench along with Ruan, and well, now they're going to have to readjust. Volleyball has its particulars in terms of who's subbing on for whom. And it'll be Tony Guerra, the freshman DS libero out of Rancho Cucamonga, California, checking on for Marcel Tiscareño. Garrett again, 17 aces on the season. Good for tops on the Beacons, nearly over 3/4 of an ace per set. Johnson looking for Nowakowski that time, and it goes off the top of the net and rolls down on the Beacons' end. 5-3. Garrett heads off, and Kelsey Pereira checks in. Pereira, the senior outside out of Acushnet, Massachusetts. It's Kelsey on the service, and she picks out the opposing freshman DS, Allie Dean, who struggles to handle that one, and it's 6-3. 3 aces for Suffolk already in the early going of set number 2. Kelsey, the freshman out of Parker, Colorado, gets this one in. Pereira off the hands of the Suffolk block. James off the block and popped up by the Beacons. It'll be Chiosa with the running tip. Inside this time, and Comments is there for the Beacons. Ruan sets Pereira, looks for the tip, doesn't get it over. And Suffolk extends their lead out to 4. It was a very close first set. 10 ties, 5 lead changes, but Suffolk has carried that momentum over from set number 1, which they scored the last 5 points of the set to take it 25-20. It's now 7-3 Rams here to start set number 2, and we'll take an audio break. Be back in just about a minute. Michael Holohan giving instructions to his side, the head coach of the Beacons. 120-77 for his career. Started with UMass Boston all the way back in 2009. He was named a co-head coach in 2013 and made his return to the bench here in 2021 after not being the head coach in 2019, taking a short leave of absence. Got a service error out of the timeout. Dean comes off, Brogel on. Brogel, the Beacons' top blocker on the year. Team best 5 block solos and 16 total blocks. She fills the void of Sarah Doyle, who was a mainstay in the Beacons' rotation for 4 years. There's a block, but it ends up out off the Beacons. Just a bit too strong off the hands of Brogel. For Suffolk, they'll make a pair of substitutions. Jayla Martinez, one of the team's 2 setters, checks on alongside Julia LeVay, a freshman outside hitter. It's 3rd on the team with their 36 kills this year. To the bench, it's Harmony Johnson and Jasmine James. Suffolk running a 6-2 offense with those 2 talented setters. Beacons relying on Carson Kamensk in their 5-1 offense. On the service from Martinez, handled by the Beacons, and Brogel unable to put it down. To the near side for LeVay. It's Pereira. It goes deep and just a bit too strong. 9-4 Rams, who have now scored 14 of the last 18 points. Remember, that first set was tied 19-19 late. Brogel will feed Pereira, and she's able to find the blue hardwood. 9-5 in favor of the visitors here in set number 2. In the first match between these 2 sides since early September of 2009 here at the Clark Athletic Center. A lot has changed in the past 12 years, at least here on campus. Swing from the lefty, Kensley Bell, one of just 3 returners on the team, and Pereira again too strong. Kelsey came in today's match with 13 kills, hitting just under 100 on the year. In the first set, did not have a kill on 3 swings. Comets goes over on 2, but read perfectly by Kelsey. To the near side, big swing from Cowan, nothing doing. Brogel, odd to see the middle go over on 2, but she elects to. Levy able to put it off the block and down, and Suffolk's lead extends to 6, 11-5. Long service pushes Kiosa back. Brogel through the block, and again, Morgan Kelsey is there. Another ball that gets through the Beacons block, and this time it'll be Levy, the freshman out of Natick, Massachusetts, who extends her team's advantage to 12-5. Beacons team kind of maybe thought they had something on Saturday against Bates, but Suffolk has come right at them. Pereira pushes it across. It'll be Cowan. Soft little roll shot. And Kiosa gets it back from the back line. Fooled everybody. And that ends up in the back corner. Really nice set from Kamensk. I think everyone on Suffolk expected the set to come to one of the hitters up front, Chepievska or Brogel, instead the back set. And it provides the Beacons a much-needed side out as Marcel Tiscareño checks on for Tony Guerra. This is as big as the Beacons really get in terms of their top 8 or 9 rotation players. Tiscareño, Brogel, and Chepievska all over 6 feet. Back set for Levy off the block. This time much easier to handle for Ruan. Comets another back set. This will go off the top of the net and out. Chepievska and Comets not on the same page. Nowakowski back on for Kelsey for Suffolk, but first a Beacons timeout, their second of the set. It is 13-6 Suffolk. Here in the second set, they lead 1-0 overall. Michael Houlihan with some interesting hand motions, kind of circling the world. See if he can get his team to collect themselves as they've really let Suffolk take control of this match. 5 late points to take the first set. And now a 7-point advantage, doubling up the Beacons here in the second. Give credit on the opposite side to Scott Blanchard in his 4th year with the Rams. 35-34, including a program record 20 wins back in 2019. Also finished 4th in the Great Northeast Athletic Conference. Tied for the program's best ever finish in the GNAC. So this is their 2nd year in the Commonwealth Coast Conference. First season where they'll actually play matches. Dean on the service after the Tiscareño kill. He pops it back up. Kiosa on the far side. That'll go down on the Suffolk side. And the Beacons have, they're going to say that hit the antenna, and they'll give it to Suffolk. Thought the Beacons might have back-to-back points for the first time in a while. Instead, it's a Suffolk side out, and they'll make their 6-2 switch. Harmony Johnson, one of the team's best setters, along with Jasmine James. Julia Levy and Jayla Martinez take a seat. Johnson service, easily handled. Tiscareño through the block, but Johnson is there. Popped up, James very tight to the net, and it's blocked down by Tiscareño and Kiosa. Beacons have cut it to 6 here. This is a team that does have a comeback victory this year. They went down 2-0 at Kane down in New Jersey and came back to win in 5. It was something they struggled to do in 2019. They did not win a match in more than 3 sets until the final week of the regular season. And then in the postseason, they defeated Keene State in 4, WestCon, the number 2 seed, in 5, and Plymouth State on the road they beat in 4 to win the LEC. Comet's just a bit too deep, coming off a match in which she had 6 kills and 5 service errors against Bates. Beacons on the season with 2 more service errors than service aces coming into this match. 17 service errors in that match against Bates, tied for their season high. That is a lot of points to give away. Cowan pushes Dean backwards. Kiosa from behind the 3-meter line. Kept alive by Kelsey and mishandled by Johnson. Wasn't even whistled for the infraction, just couldn't pop that one up at all, and she just kind of looked at her hands in disgust. UMass Boston will make their change. Ruan and Tiscareño to the bench. Guerra and Pereira back in. Guerra out of Los Osos High School. Johnson pops it up, looking for the tip, and the Beacons unable to keep it alive. Wasn't much behind that swing, but UMass Boston just couldn't time their jump perfectly enough. And Morgan Kelsey, who was the best defensive player and MVP at Legend High School in Colorado. Dean for Pereira, flat-footed. To the near side, James through the block. Ruan able to keep it alive. Kiosa, though, unable to put it over the tape. And Suffolk's advantage back out to 7, tied for their largest of the set. (17-10) in favor of the visitors, already leading 1-0. Comments for Kiosa. The opposite side, Johnson to the back line, looking and finding Cowan. A really strong swing, and she just barely got that off the tape. Michael Houlihan's going to expand his rotation. Brianna Henderson will check on. First time we've seen Henderson today, the junior outside hitter, who, if you were watching some of the matches this weekend for the Beacons, you know has attended 16 different schools during her time on this earth. But she calls her home Fort Lauderdale, rather St. Petersburg, Florida, but attended high school in New Hampshire. There's a service ace, and the Rams have pushed this lead to 20-10. Kelsey came in with a team-high 22 aces on the year for the first 8 matches. Really strong server, and you can see why. She's pushing the Beacons back line and really making it difficult on them. Johnson near side, James through the block, and another kill. At this point, the Beacons coaching staff needs to figure out how they're going to win the third set, because this second set has gotten away from them. No timeouts left, down by 11. They're past the danger zone at this point. It's really just crucial to find something, as Henderson unable to handle the serve from Kelsey. And it's 22-10, and the Beacons will make a sub, and Henderson right back off for Dean. And now we'll see Livia Trindade for the first time, the Brazilian native, and she'll replace Chepievska. Michael Houlihan just trying to find some combination that's going to work. This time the Beacons able to handle the service. Kiosa across. Great diving effort from Johnson to keep it alive. Free ball across. Can the Beacons take advantage? Looking for Pereira, who just gets it barely over. Tapped over on two. Out wide for Kiosa, who is pushed backwards, and it's another hitting error for the Beacons. 23-10 Suffolk. Beacons will make yet another substitution during this Morgan Kelsey service run. It's Guerra on for Rouen. And finally it ends as Taylor Kelsey puts it into the bottom of the net. The Beacons get the side out, and they'll bring on Taryn Brogel for Allie Dean as they trail 23-11. First set was close. Again, 10 ties, 5 lead changes, 5 points from Suffolk to end the set to take it, but this second set has been all Suffolk. Near side, swing from the lefty Bell. Pereira, a good swing, got some power behind it, and she comes up with the kill. This point, if you're UMass Boston, you just want to get a little bit of momentum. Can you end this set with 16 points, 17 points? Just find a little bit something to get you going into the third. Nice thing is you start with a clean slate in that third set. Unlike most other sports where you find yourself down 2-3-0, you got to even it up. The Beacons just have to find something that could help them potentially win a third set, force a fourth, and then maybe you can get to a fifth. Kiosa on the service. Kelsey handles it. Johnson for James. Soft little touch. Commons bumps it up for Trindade, who had to back up there. Not the easiest swing. And James gives the free ball. Can the Beacons take advantage? Comments for Trindade. Better swing, but too strong. We're 2+ weeks into the season, but clearly these Beacons setters and hitters are still feeling each other out. A little bit of miscommunication here and miscommunication there is both of those swings for Trindade not exactly where she wanted the ball. Jayla Martinez, freshman of Santa Fe, New Mexico, trying to serve out this set. Brogel a strong swing, and it's pushed back over, and it'll be a point off the hands of Martinez, who was just able to pop it over with no power, and the Beacons unable to react in time. It's 25-13 in the second set, 2-0 overall in favor of Suffolk. So the Beacons are going to need to rally and go to 5 to have a chance to knock off their red line rivals, the Suffolk University Rams. Suffolk with a 2-0 advantage after 2 sets. The second set, much less close than the first, just one tie score. Looking at some of the numbers, Suffolk has hit 250 in each set. The Beacons negative 91 in the first set, negative 97 in the second set, negative 94 for the match. That is not what we expected, considering the Beacons came in as the team hitting much better than Suffolk on the season. UMass Boston hitting about 180 on the year, whereas Suffolk was sitting below 100. Suffolk led by 6 kills each from Jasmine James and Alina Nowakowski. 12 assists from Harmony Johnson. And 15 digs from Morgan Kelsey for the Beacons. 4 kills from Alex Chiosa to go along with 6 digs. 3 kills from Marcel Tiscareño, who has 3 solo blocks. Carson Kamensk has 8 assists, 8 of the Beacons' 10. She also has 3 service aces. Big hole for the Beacons to climb out of. Down 2-0. Nearly doubled up in that second set, 25-13. The nice thing for this Suffolk team is they're already battle-tested. This is the first team they've played this year who was in the NCAA tournament in 2019, but they've played perennial powers in New England like MIT, Springfield, Williams, so not intimidated anyway, as Jasmine James has herself a 7th kill on the day, and the lead 1-0 in favor of Suffolk. Feels like these first 5 to 10 points are crucial for UMass Boston. They absolutely need to at least be even after 10 points or close to it, as Rouen unable to handle the service from McKenna Cowan. If Suffolk stretches this out to as far as 3 or 4, it feels like a much bigger hole considering how well Suffolk has played and how poorly the Beacons have played thus far in this match, especially in the second set. Cowan service. This time it's handled, but it's going to go all the way over the net, so essentially a free ball. James wants another kill, and she's got it. Jasmine James is having herself a huge match. The sophomore out of Norwood, Massachusetts. Came in with 54 kills, second on the team. She had a career-high 10 kills against Union in the 4-set win on Saturday, already up to 8 very early here in set 3. Service is too strong from Cowan. Remember, that's been a struggle for both of these sides on the season. Through 2 sets, it's kind of played out. Suffolk with 7 aces and 8 errors. The Beacons with 5 aces and 6 errors. Not the ratio you want. You want that service ace number to always be higher than the service error number. Those are just free points. Johnson, backside, looking for Nowakowski, and it's blocked by Chepievska there, the solo block. And the Beacons a mini 2-0 run. Cut the deficit to 3-2. Chiosa, originally out of Athens, Greece. She and her family moved to Quincy for high school, and she and her family have settled in the Boston area. Is unable to handle that swing from James, who is red hot here to start the third set with 3 kills, 3 of the first 4 points for Suffolk. Nowakowski off, Bell on, and Morgan Kelsey, who's been great serving, picks up another ace. The benefit of the top of the tape and gets a nice bounce. Kelsey's 5th ace versus 4 service errors. She now has as many service aces as the Beacons have on the match. Comments looking for Brogel, and Brogel able to punch it through. Brogel heads back to serve with Tiscareño checking on for Rouen. Taryn on the day now with 2 kills. Deep service, and that'll be an ace. Junior out of Branford, Connecticut, picks up her 11th ace on the season. Brogel was the Beacons' third middle hitter in 2019. Didn't see a ton of time, but has come on and been an instant impact player for the Beacons here in 2021, and a captain, a player that's really taken a step forward in her game. She's got back-to-back aces, and the Beacons are even 5-5 after 10 points, exactly where I thought they probably needed to be. James looking for another kill. This time she's blocked. And the Beacons on a run. They've got 4 points in a row. I think that's their first lead since 20-19 in the first set. Long ways to go, but there's a positive if you're looking for it. Brogel trying to keep this service run going. Popped up. Johnson is going to have to give it off to Bell. Free ball across. Comments for Tiscareño. Pops it way too high. Out for a Suffolk point and a big side out as they're able to push Brogel back to the bench after a really nice service run. Suffolk makes the 6-2 change. Levy and Martinez on. Johnson and James off. That's probably positive for the Beacons, the way that Jasmine James has been swinging today. Service from Martinez, handled by the Beacons. Chepievska, a good swing, and it ends up over the Suffolk bench for an Amelia Chepievska kill. St. Paul, Minnesota native who was named to the Babson Invitational Tournament All-Tournament team after 26 kills this weekend in 3 matches, and she's a bit too strong on the service. 7-7 early third set. Suffolk leads it 2-0. 25-20 in the first, 25-13 in the second. Bell, the lefty service. Comets over on 2. Read by Levy. Near side for Cowan. She's blocked. Bounces around, and it'll go down. The Beacons block clearly is the area that they have the advantage on. Through the first 2 sets, it was 3 blocks to 1, but the Beacons are not only a little bit taller, but they're certainly a little bit more effective on the block. Garrett is serve. Line drive service that pushes Cowan back. Martinez will feed Cowan from behind the 3-meter line. Comets looks for Kiosa down the line, and that'll go for a kill. Beacons' largest lead since the first set at 9-7. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but certainly some optimism, and some of the fans below me starting to clap, starting to get into it. It's been a while since Beacons have given the home crowd something to cheer about. Swing from Levy popped up, and Chepievska unable to handle that one. 9-8 now. Isabella Huzar, the freshman out of Amazie, Pennsylvania. And that service just a bit too strong, and she'll head straight to the bench, replaced by Morgan Kelsey. Got a short stoppage. I think they're checking on the libero tracker right now. 10-8 UMass Boston. Beacons try to come away with a set victory and potentially start the comeback. Both teams huddling up right now on their respective sides as Alyssa Ruan waits to serve. The Beacons now up to negative 58 hitting on the day. So that would be an improvement over their negative 94 through the first 2 sets. Suffolk down to 233. So a little bit of a swing early on here in set 3. Looking at the third set numbers, the Beacons, in fact, hitting 400. Suffolk at 125. 2 service aces aside, and the Beacons have 3 blocks. We're going to take a brief audio break until we are back with live action. It's UMass Boston 10, Suffolk 8 here early in set 3. Looking ahead for these two teams, UMass Boston on the road at Eastern Connecticut State. The team picked just ahead of them in the Little East Conference preseason coaches poll. That's a Friday night match at 7 p.m. in their Little East Conference opener. Then they're back at home against Johnson and Wales for a non-conference match on Tuesday at 6 at Emmanuel College. So they'll stay local within Boston on Thursday at 7 before they open their home portion of their conference schedule next Saturday when they host Plymouth State University at 2 p.m. For Suffolk, they are at LaSalle this Thursday, a 7 p.m. match. They host Eastern Nazarene College on Saturday at noon as part of their Resident Ram Day. And then they open Commonwealth Coast Conference play, their first ever Commonwealth Coast Conference volleyball match, on Tuesday at 7 p.m. when they host Roger Williams before traveling to the team picked first in the CCC. That's Endicott College next Saturday. Looking around the rest of Beaconville, women's soccer defeated Salem State University 6-2 last night. Tomorrow, the women's soccer team travels to Simmons College at 7 p.m. The women's tennis team is at Husson, and the cross-country team is at UMass Dartmouth this Saturday. Continued problems at the scorers table. We are going to take another brief break and be back as the Beacons lead at 10-8 here early in the third set, but we'll see if they can keep that momentum going, as it's been a rather long delay here as they work out some libero tracking problems with the down official. And we are back after a lengthy delay, working out some stuff at the scorer's table with the libero sheet. The Beacons will have the service, leading 10-8 here in the third set, and Alyssa Ruan gets it across. That is the longest delay you will see in almost any volleyball match, especially middle of the set. And typically you talk about calling a timeout on the opposing team. You ice the server. Well, that was impressive that she got it in. And then Suffolk pushes it out wide, so the Beacons' lead is 3, their largest of the set, potentially of the match. They haven't led since the first set until they took a small advantage here in set number 2. Suffolk claiming that went off the block from the bench and from the court. They won't get it. And the Beacons' edge is 12-8 after they trailed 5-2 early in set number 3. Martinez looking for Levy, popped up. The Beacons will keep it alive. They need to give the free ball, and Ruan will do so. Looks there for Nowakowski, and it's just past Guerra and down. So Suffolk gets their first point in about half an hour, probably closer to 15 minutes, and they're within 12-9. It's not like the Beacons scored all that many points during that period, maybe 2 or 3. Suffolk makes their 6-2 switch. Harmony Johnson and Jasmine James back on. These two have been extremely effective. James, the leading hitter thus far, trying for her second double-digit kills match in her last 3. Second collegiate as well. Comments for Brogel, who pops it right into the net on the Beacon side. And Suffolk back within 2 at 12-10. Suffolk with 5 points in a row to end the first set to take set 1 25-20. They dominated the Beacons in the second set, earning a 25-13 win. Comments out wide for Kiosa off the block, kept alive by Kelsey. Looks for James, down the line, and Ruan is there. Comments right back for Kiosa, goes deep, handled by Bell. Near side looking for Cowan, off the hands of Brogel and out. And Suffolk within 1. It's always interesting to see how a team will deal with a long layoff. Well, the Beacons got a couple points to start, but now Suffolk, who looked extremely loose during the long stoppage, dancing to the music, really seem to be enjoying themselves. They've gotten themselves right back in to this set. Czepieska from the back line, and a really good diving effort from Bell. They won't keep it alive, but it was impressive just that she got there, as Amelia Czepieska, the Beacons' leader in kills coming in with 62, picks up another one. Much shorter stoppage here as Taryn Brogel will tie her shoes. Comments to serve, and she's too strong. It'll be McKenna Cowan, the freshman out of San Ramon, California. Attended California High School, where she won the East Bay Athletic League Championship in 2019. Comments all the way across for Kiosa, whose running start just a bit too strong. And we're even at 13-13. So the Beacons had an advantage of 4 at 12-8. Now Suffolk has won 5 of the past 6 points. Comments looks for Kiosa again off the block. Cowan, the server, is there. And she'll get the set as well. Diving effort from Ruan. The pancake keeps it alive. Czepieska unable to beat Cowan, who's been all over the place. James, her 10th kill of the day. Her second 10-kill match in her past 3. And the Rams have their first lead in a while at 14-13. Suffolk has not defeated the Beacons since 2005. They're looking to come into the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium and sweep them. Comments for Czepieska, who just rifles that one past, I think it was Cowan, who just tried to get out of the way of it. And that was as hard of a ball that's been hit tonight. Chiosa back to serve. As a freshman in 2019, 48 aces. This year with 8, 6th on the team. And we've got again, we're over at the scorer's table, the down official. So it looks like we've gone from using a computer to handheld, and that will speed things up in this instance. Chiosa's service, a good one. Johnson for Nowakowski. Comments wants Pereira off the block, and it'll fall just in front of Kelsey and Cowan. Beacons have jumped right back ahead at 15-14. Scott Blanchard, a couple of quick words. One of his leaders, Helena Nowakowski. I say leaders. They only have 3 upperclassmen, so some of these freshmen and sophomores, just by virtue of all of this playing time, have become leaders on the floor. The only 2 players who have seen collegiate action prior to this year, Kensley Bell and Harmony Johnson. Both of them on the floor right now. Chiosa's service, handled by Cowan. The long pass pushed across by Bell. Brogla doesn't get a ton behind that swing. Now it's James, and Ruan couldn't handle it. A little bit of a float swing from James. And we'll see Isabella Huzar again, freshman out of Emmaus High School, where she won the PIAA District 3 title as a junior. Much better service here after she gave up a service error her last time in. Johnson near side for James, blocked out of bounds, and we're tied at 16. Morgan Kelsey, the server, had a career-high 25 assists and 7 aces on Saturday against Union. As right now, Carson comments he's having a conversation with Michael Houlihan and comes back on. Very rare to see a coach-player conversation in the middle of a match, especially without a timeout or a substitution. Kelsey on the service, catches the top of the net. Beacons lead at 17-16. I'm sure that wasn't gamesmanship, just knowing Carson, the kind of person she is, one of the presidents of the UMass Boston Student Athlete Advisory Committee, but it might have thrown off Kelsey a bit there as there was a mini stoppage. Brogel sends it wide on the near side, and it's even at 17. So a little bit more similar to the first set, in which we had 10 ties and 5 lead changes. Can the Beacons pull off this third set and push this match to 4, maybe even 5? Jayla Martinez will check on alongside Julia Levy. Martinez attended St. Michael's High School, where she won the 2018 state title. Finished as runners-ups back in 2019. Came in tops on the team with their 93 assists on the year. Pereira from behind the 3-meter line never caught the block, and Suffolk has a lead at 18-17 here in the third. Martinez came in with 11 aces on the year. And she just picks up another one. Miscommunication between Pereira and Chiosa. It's 19-17 now in favor of the Rams. Time is running out on the Beacons. They'll use a timeout. It is 2-0 in favor of Suffolk overall, and they lead by 2 late here in set 3. Martinez trying to keep this service run going. Tiscareño, difficult set there, only able to get it across. Big swing coming by Levy, but the Beacons keep it alive. Pereira, cross court, easily handled by Kelsey. Now it's Bell, the tip. Ruan feeding Pereira. Martinez near side for Levy. Good swing, but Ruan is there. This is a crucial point, and Tiscareño wins it for the Beacons. Easily the longest point of the third set. And UMass Boston back within one as Allie Dean will check on at the service line. Out of West Lynn High School, where she won 2 state titles, making just her 4th appearance. Dean handled by Bell. Near side for Levy. Comments once Tiscareño off the block, kept alive. Good hands from Martinez. Levy the swing, and she's got herself a kill and a big point for Suffolk. Instead of evening this set at 19-19, Suffolk a 2-point cushion, as they will send Tatum Kelt, the freshman DS out of West Bloomfield, Michigan, on to serve. She's got 6 aces to her name this year. And the lefty service, long floater, handled by Ruan. Tiscareño off the block and off the down official. UMass Boston back within one thanks to their senior out of El Paso, Texas. Tony Guerra, the Beacons' top server, comes on. Boy, could they use a nice little service run from Guerra. 10 aces against Northern Vermont Linden on Friday. Beacons could use 1 or 2 right here. Off the top of the net, she's got the first. 20-20 here in the third set. First to 5, win by 2. Exact same scenario as we had in the first set. Suffolk won 5 consecutive points to take it and take the momentum in this match. Beacons trying to wrestle it back. Levy through the Beacons block, and they have the first point, 21-20. Nowakowski on for Kelsey for Suffolk, so they bring on one of their top middles for the libero. Soft service here from Huzar. Kamenska cross on 2, and Huzar able to keep it alive. Comments wants Tiscareño, and that goes right through Huzar for a big Beacons part. Brogle for Tiscareño, 1 middle for another on the Beacons side, and it's 21 all. Alyssa Ruan, the freshman of Quincy, Mass, who came in with 10 aces on the season. Martinez wants Levy. It's blocked down on the Beacons side. And Suffolk will get their top setter and top hitter, at least on the day. Jasmine James, typically one of their top 2 or 3, will check on. And Harmony Johnson to serve here. 45 aces as a freshman in 2019, 10 more this season. Looking to go on a service run and potentially end this match right here and now. 22-21, Suffolk leads. Low service, kept alive by Kamensk, and Guerra will have to give the free ball. Difficult play for Kelsey, who gives it right back. Kamensk for Kiosa, who puts it way low. Again, the Beacons just haven't quite been in sync on their passing. And with the Beacons 2 points away from losing this match, they'll take a timeout. Their final one of the set, 23-21 Suffolk, potentially 2 points away from a 3-0 sweep of UMass Boston. Harmony Johnson will be at the service line after this timeout. Suffolk has won 3 of the past 4 points to take a 23-21 advantage. They lead it 2-0 overall. And Johnson, one of the leaders on this team, the junior out of Riverside, California, looking to end this run of 5 consecutive Beacons victories over the Rams. Pair of Boston schools who share the red line here on the MBTA. Johnson taking your time, really trying to reset. Gets the service in. That was the big part. Chepievska puts it right into the net. Another attack error by the Beacons, back-to-back. And now it's 3 consecutive match points for Suffolk, if they need it. 24-21. Ruan comments once Kiosa gets it across, but kept alive. This is tight to the net. Johnson keeps it alive. Cowan down the line. Guerra is there. Kiosa off the block on the Beacon side. A joust at the net, and it's won by Cowan, rather Nowakowski, and that will do it. Suffolk comes into the Clark Athletic Center and wins 25-20, 25-13, 25-21. The first win for the Rams over the Beacon since 2005. They improve to 4-5 on the year. The Beacons fall to 3-5. That will do it for us here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. We're sorry that we started late. Real technical difficulties. We're glad we got this off the ground for you so you could watch the entire second and third and the conclusion of the first. For our camera operator, Jordan Toomey. For our fill-in director, started the game as a ball girl, ended it up here, Kelsey Ryan. And for myself, Seth Orensky, thanks so much for watching. In the end, it's Suffolk 3, UMass Boston 0. The Beacons back in action on Friday night at 7 when they travel to Eastern Connecticut State for Little East Conference play.